Hey, y'all know a meteor hit the Earth, bro?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's actually pretty wild when you think about it. So there's this meteor, right? It's not a large meteor by any means. They said it was like what 3 meters wide or whatever. So NASA saw it when it was like beyond the distance at which NASA saw it. It was beyond the distance from the Earth to the Moon, right? And they're like, "Oh, it's not gonna hit us. This is gonna fly past us." No, it hit us like hours after they said that it wasn't gonna hit us. What
The end
happened
is
is
nigh.
what happened is once it reached the atmosphere, though, I guess the pressure or whatever, it exploded and just burst into little pieces, and it just fell into the Caribbean Ocean. But NASA basically came out and was like, "Yeah, we could use more eyes watching the space." I'm like, bro, think about what this really means. A meteor hit the Earth because we didn't have enough people watching space.
And this is one thing that pisses me off when you look at like how much funding keeps getting cut from like when it comes to like space exploration and things of that nature.
Bro,
Everyone's like,
NASA
oh,
done
we
lost some
that.
checks, some fat checks.
Say what?
NASA has lost some fat checks.
Oh yeah, they lost a ton, and people just treat it like it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. We don't need like space stuff. We need to worry about whatever kind of bullshit people can come up with, and they don't realize that like no, they serve a purpose outside of whatever the you want to think they do. But like no, it's what people really need to like wrap their head around is like the purpose of NASA is for space exploration and like think about it. There was a mass extinction caused by getting like the Earth getting hit by a massive asteroid, and
Yep.
we have the ability if we look hard enough to be able to like predict like that predictor would be able to like notice this and make preparations.
Yep.
It's
And you
all fun
know
and
what?
games until like we get hit and nobody's expecting it and we're just dead.
And think about the timeliness of this situation, right? Like, of course, it's gonna run low key in the media because, like, space nerd shit, all that. But we got Donald Trump here trying to start up the space force. You already know he gonna walk out and be like, "Hey, man, a meteor just hit us." And he's probably gonna be like, "A big, big, big meteor just hit us, landed in the Caribbean. This is why we need the space force." And somehow, some way, I think it's gonna happen. Like they're at the point right now. I believe I could be wrong. I could be behind, but I think right now they're at the point where they're like trying to get Congress to back it, and yeah, it's just it's a little strange, man. Like we living in some strange times. I'm not gonna lie,
Bro, it's the end, dog. Y'all need to make peace with your God. All
bro.
right? It's the end.
Christian's been saying it's been the end for about 20 years now, dog.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
been saying it's the end for the
But
past two
you
thousand years, bro. Like
but
soon
you
as
know, but
Jesus died,
you
they've been
wait a
talking about
minute though. Wait a minute though. You know what the difference was between then and now? There are actual concentration camps here. There are actual phenomenons like meteors hitting the planet. Ain't nobody saying nothing now. You feel me? There's more
it's
going
always
on,
happened.
bro. But wait a minute. You always want to bring up some Christianity. We ain't talking about no Christians right now, dog.
Bro.
We talking about the end, and I ain't even talking about the end of the world. I'm talking about the end of America, brother.
Oh, okay. My fault. I thought you
Y'all,
was talking about like it's over, like it's a wrap.
dude, the world has gone on for years. The world ain't worried about us. The world is going to be just fine. I'm talking about what's going on around the world that involves this country, bro. Everything that's happening to divide this country. It ain't gonna be the United States of America no more. It's gonna be Texas and everybody else. That's what it's gonna be. So y'all just watch, bro. I'm telling you, like everything points to division. There was a Nostradamus, a woman who could see the future, who predicted that Donald Trump would be the last president of the United States. And they said, "What does that mean? Is the world going to end?" She said, "No, not in our time, but the United States will end in the sense that it'll be divided. It'll be every area will just become its own small country." And I do believe that's what's happening.
You think we're gonna
You know
go
what I'm
the
saying?
way of the Soviet Union?
The Balkans.
Precisely.
I can definitely see that because if you think about how the country is as a whole, like culturally, you could pretty much split up the power structure. The South is going to go its own way, so I can see Kentucky. Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, all that kind of stuff, all joining together, like Oklahoma, all joining together. Probably Missouri too. Just depends, but like I see the entire like the Confederacy. I consider that I can see that going its own way and becoming its own country. Texas is going to be its own thing, 100%. Fucking Texas.
Exactly. That's why I said Texas and everybody. Texas and everybody else.
It's gonna be Texas. Then I can see all of like the mid. I see like the mid, like some of the Midwestern places. Like I see Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, maybe all kind of becoming like more or less one thing. I say that New York might end up being a free city.
A free city.
Free city.
When you say that, you mean
A city state, essentially.
oh, okay, okay. Like Rome, dog. Like
Like it's gonna be like a city state. Like it's just gonna exist. The city, it's going to be the state. So it's like the city of New York is going to be like that's going to be the power structure at the end of the day. There's not going to be like any overarching.
that seems a little archaic though. Like that was back in the day, man. Like,
I can see that being a thing though. Think
It doesn't
about
matter how long
do
ago it was.
you think we would regress that much?
Yep.
it. Think about it. I say that mainly because of the fact that if that happens, like one of the big issues we have right now is the whole urban versus suburban, or urban versus rural.
Yeah.
It's like if that happens, there's not gonna be people in like Rochester, Buffalo, and Syracuse, New York, wanting to still be like essentially ruled over by people from New York City.
You're
In
right.
New York City, they don't want to have to like pay out their money to people in upstate New York.
I can see. Okay, yeah, I can see it.
Because that's one thing a lot of people don't think about a whole lot is like there's a lot of places in this country where like this all of the capital all comes through certain areas. Like everyone's like all I know is like all of Illinois hates Chicago, but they don't realize like or most people from like south of like I-80 in Illinois, they don't realize that all the money that they use for their roads and shit like that all comes from Chicago. Like without the like it's like there's like a lot of cities throughout the US that can exist on their own, but there's a lot of states that would have issues because they don't have the money to do so.
Yeah, because cities are where all the commerce is.
Exactly. So it's like it's like things are kind of split up into an interesting kind of format. I think essentially how it would work out is the US would be kind of split. Like the South would be its own thing, then there would be the northern states east of the Mississippi would become connected. Then west of the Mississippi, minus Texas, would be its own entity. Maybe with like New York, with the West Coast, the West Coast, like Washington, Oregon, California, might have to be split off. But everywhere west of the Mississippi, I think would probably become its own thing too.
Damn. I hope it doesn't happen in our lifetime. I mean, it probably could, but
Honestly, I don't think it would.
That's
Potentially.
That's the only issue I have with today. That's kind of the only thing anybody has to say about any of it is I don't see that happening in our time, or I hope it doesn't happen in our time because we've never experienced something like that. But the truth of the matter is they're putting it in our face and daring us to challenge it because it's coming, bro. And unfortunately, I personally believe that something that catastrophic, it's very likely to happen while we're here, while we can see it. You know what I'm saying? We grew up with people who are now in prison or dead, just like we have friends who have graduated from college and have families. And at the end of it all, bro, like you have to truly analyze everything that you've seen, but really think about what you're not seeing and really think about what you're not hearing because there's so much more going on than we care to realize. And instead of asking for more time, we should be utilizing what time we have here. And I know I jokingly said make peace with your God earlier, but I'm not joking. Like make peace. Whatever insurance policy you need in regard to your soul, make peace with that because it's coming, man. And not just as far as the government goes and whatever could go on with that, but just, man, people dying every day, B. Like, it's been more. Can we talk about these shootings? Just people going to high schools and shooting up the crowd at a football game or going to Walmart and shooting at people? Like, bro, anything can happen. So whatever God you have, make peace with him. Because that's the best insurance policy you can ever place on your life. And be at peace because these days you just never know. You feel me? So it is what it is, man.
Oh, and speaking of which, of what you just said, let's not forget, talking about those shootings. Let's not forget that the FBI had COINTELPRO and plotted to, and essentially did take out the Black Panthers. And they came out with that report very recently about how black identity extremists are like the most dangerous people in the US. And yet we have white people damn near every day this year, if you count the total number of like just shootings that have been going on, mass shootings. And mass shootings in this instant defined as like somebody pulled a gun and shot like four people or plus, right? Like we have a lot of those this year, like damn near every day when you average it out. And FBI ain't said nothing about white folks,
No, they won't.
not a thing.